Welcome back. We're going to be looking at plagiarism and being an informed consumer. You might think of consumer as the consumption of products and services, but we're not thinking about the use of certain goods like intellectual property. As a student, you need to be very careful about the consequences of unintended plagiarism, and we have some examples here on our right in the slide here. Things like not knowing the correct citation styles. There are APA and there's Harvard, but not putting it in the correct in-text reference could be a form of plagiarism. Other things is using images, videos, and photographs freely without crediting them, and other examples being not knowing how to paraphrase or using direct quotations. Plagiarism comes in many different forms, such as turning in someone else's work, submitting collaborated work on one's own without crediting the others, downloading or buying papers from the web and turning them in as your own, and so on. What's very important as an informed consumer is just to educate yourself and know the various forms of plagiarism on the ethical, moral, and legal issues that surround it so that you do not suffer the consequences. Let's go on to the next section. The next section looks at trends in consumer buying behavior and how everything is sort of evolutionized in the consumer buying process. Things that I've mentioned in the module manual is how e-commerce has been on the increase. People are mostly buying on their iPhones and iPads in terms of the study in the model manual and using their phone to buy and purchase products and services. The second one is pop-ups and interactive engagement, which is that when you're on the internet, you might see pop-ups as an irritant, but now is grown up with the marketing and making the product more real. So that when I'm on the site, I see the new Apple, the Granny Smith Apple, I click on it, and now I can just go and buy it. So it's starting to increase the sort of experience for the consumer online. The next one is connection savvy shopper, which you can also read through on your own. And I'll just mention, for example, the shipping and availability one, which is that the consumer does look at how much do I need to pay for shipping. If it's free shipping, then this usually means I'm going to rather value that purchase than to have to pay so much for shipping. And another one is that consumer-driven demand and personalization, that consumers want unique and different products and would like that personalized product experience. So a lot of sort of platforms are making sure the consumer gets that personalized preference of their product. Other things to look at is the four main business models, such as B2B, B2C, C2B, and consumer to consumer C2C. So in this main business models, business to business is when a business sells to another business, those supplies. Business to consumer is the most common, which is the business going to sell to the consumer of goods and services. Consumer to business is a little bit more new, which is that the consumer is going to sell whatever products it has and then say sell on Amazon, and that Amazon will sell directly through, review their product, and so on. And then you get consumer to consumer, which is OLX, Gumtree, Bid2Buy, eBay, where you can just sell directly to the consumer. Our next point of our work is looking at tips for buyers. This is a specifically important part of your work because we are going to go through sort of this work for our task POE work. And this is the tips that if you are buying online, what should you consider? Firstly, before you bid online, I'm not sure if you've ever been in an online auction before, but it's quite a, very, very panicky situation. And maybe before you put a bid on something, that new Chanel bag, that sports equipment, that collector's item, here's some tips that you need to take into account before you make that bid. Find out as much as possible about the seller. Find out, how old are they? Do they have an email address? Do they actually come from a good company? Can you reach them easily? Email and call the seller if you have any questions. Know the auction site and never assume the process and rules of one side apply to another. When you are bidding, establish the top price you're willing to pay and stick to it. Also save all your transaction information, including the seller's identification. Before paying, protect your privacy. Before agreeing to an online payment, read the terms of agreement and be careful about online escrow services. Determine the form of payment the seller is willing to accept, and so on. Consequences of not doing all these things is going to be very detrimental to your finances. Things that could happen to you, such as this happens all the time on Wish.com. Consumers think they're going to get a product, but it's been falsely advertised, or it's not delivered in a timely manner, or there's just a sale of fake goods and services. Other things is just a misrepresentation and false conduct of what the advertised goods are not advertised. And then there are also some other problems that can occur, which you can read through, such as shill bidding, bid siphoning, and bid shielding. These are all quite horrible for those that do experience them, and it can have an influence in the behavior of if you are going to be an online buyer. Look through these and see if you can have any sort of tips before you do this, and it can protect you from, sellers online. The last one I want to talk about is cryptocurrency. You might have heard of it. An example is Bitcoin. It's sort of online money, it's digital currency, and it's sort of taken over and become a reality in 2009. You should be very careful as well with cryptocurrency, but it's a new way to conduct transactions online and has moved away from just tangible money. However, people are using it for illegal activities. You should look into your lesson plan and see all the different sort of examples of that to increase your learning and find other examples of any transactions online and deals that have gone wrong. We have completed all our coursework. Remember to write down notes and complete the VC Learn and the model manual activities. And let your lecturer know if you have any trouble with this work so far. Thank you so much and hope you enjoyed your digital content work.